Today's press conference has two parts. The first part will be addressed by our Deputy President, Honorable Hassan Kaps Fungaro, and I will come later to address you on Umeme, that part. But first, I will invite the Deputy President to address you on the issues of our forces in South Sudan and outside our borders.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, my brother, Comrade members of the press, the party officials who have come with me here, ladies and gentlemen, protocol observed. I am called the Honorable Fungaro Kaps Hassan, Deputy President of the Fdc, in charge of Northern Uganda. I'm here to address you, members of the press, on behalf of the FDC, particularly on the matter of the position of FDC on the new crisis in South Sudan as of 2025. First of all, as a way of background, you are aware that there is a problem in South Sudan of security nature between the government of the Republic of South Sudan, first of all, the forces loyal to President Salva Kiir, and Dr. Riek Machar. You're also aware of the fact that our forces, UPDF, are in South Sudan in response to the new crisis. However, our position is this as FDC. FDC does not support this UPDF deployment to South Sudan. Another position of the FDC is that Parliament did not adequately consider the issue, the matter of the deployment of the UPDF to South Sudan. Instead, we as FDC propose the following: that one, the world should support the full and proper implementation of the 2018 peace agreement of South Sudan. Number two, the world should support the call for the release of the arrested leaders of the opposition in South Sudan, including political leaders and military officials and their leader, Dr. Riek Machar. Thirdly, we as FDC also propose that the world should support the existing UN peacekeeping mission in South Sudan and upgrade it to a peace enforcement mission if there is a need for additional use of force, for which the UPDF claim to have been deployed there. Or those who support the deployment of the UPDF to South Sudan say that the UPDF is there to provide military support so that they can protect lives and property in South Sudan. So, three things. The position of the FDC is this on three things. One, the UPDF should be withdrawn from South Sudan. The continuous presence and operations of the UPDF in South Sudan are endangering three things. Number one, it is endangering the implementation of the peace agreement that has brought the relative peace we have seen in South Sudan, the 2018 peace agreement, in the sense that the UPDF's deployment there is not on the terms of peacekeeping, not a peacekeeper. the UPDF has gone there to side with one side of the conflict. Therefore, it brings loss of confidence on Uganda, the role of Uganda in the conflict in South Sudan. Uganda should have gone there as a peace promoter, a peacekeeper, not a party to the conflict. In the present situation, the UPDF presence there has put Uganda to be party to the conflict in South Sudan. That's bad. It is bad because it is going to put Ugandans who are struggling in South Sudan there doing business in danger. The Ugandans who are there in South Sudan are already facing threats of revenge on them because the operations of the UPDF so far indicate that there are things which are unlawful and which are against human rights. There are killings targeting indiscriminate bombings of civilian population areas in Upper Nile, in the area of Nasir and Ulang counties. We, as Ugandans, we live in Uganda in close touch with the people in South Sudan because we have Ugandans who are there, first of all, the civilians who have gone to do business. Secondly, we are neighbors with South Sudan, people like us from the north. We are the immediate neighbors of people of South Sudan. If there is a problem in South Sudan, we feel it. We feel it directly. We have many South Sudanese who are here in Uganda as refugees. So we get up-to-date and direct report about what's going on there. So the issue of indiscriminate bombing of civilian areas, where even there are already pictures circulating in the social media, some of them you might have come across and seen them, where children got burned with bombs which are really not supposed to be used among nations today. Unconventional use of weapons. These petrol bombs, chemical weapons, which are coming from there. Uganda cannot run away from these things now. To make things worse, our own people who are in charge of the armed forces, particularly the Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, is reported and is seen through his tweets making a statement that he's tired of killing the Nuer people. And now, how do we run away from these killings in Upper Nile when our own commander of the UPDF is saying he's tired of killing in South Sudan? You know, so these things are already put Ugandans in a very, very dangerous situation. Let me tell you, my brothers and sisters, in the conflict of the past, the recent past, the 2013-2014 conflict, UPDF deployed there and acted in the same way. Though later on they maneuvered their ways around and got the cover of IGAD. That they went there maybe to keep peace. The cover of parliament. That they went there under an agreement which was signed between Uganda and South Sudan. The agreement to which they are referring when they talk like this is known as the SOFA, Status of Forces Agreement. That agreement simply talks about what are the status of these forces in South Sudan? How do you administer them? How do you manage them? And it was signed by that government of the past. The past means the government before the current government. This current government came as a result of the peace agreement signed in 2018. The agreement was before 2018. Now, what happened at that time? Ugandans were targeted. Many Ugandans lost their lives. Ugandans were referred with the derogatory language that the way people. Well, this is a way, this is it. And particularly if you, God forbid, really, I must say this, if you are from here, from the central region of Uganda, you speak Luganda, you speak this Kiswahili language, you become a target. And we have so many Ugandans who are working in South Sudan, trying to survive. The people of Uganda who have gone to South Sudan are those who have been displaced here by Uganda's harsh economy under Museveni's regime. I would like to inform the people of South Sudan that they should not be victimized, the Ugandans who are there. Those are people who are displaced here by Museveni's harsh economic conditions. They failed to get good businesses here. They failed to get jobs here. They went to do their own work as survival people there. So therefore, regardless of what the UPDF does in South Sudan, the people of South Sudan should not target the Ugandans who are there. The Ugandans who are in South Sudan are suffering people like themselves who are there. All Ugandans, from east to west, north to south, those who have failed to survive in Uganda are the ones who have gone there to do odd jobs, to work there. So if the conflict continues there, regardless of what turns out to be the final position of the people of South Sudan on this conflict, I appeal to them that they should not target Ugandans. The deployment of the UPDF to South Sudan this time around is not to protect Ugandans. Therefore, we would like to say Parliament, on the second point, the second position of Parliament, of the FDC, Parliament should reconsider its position. That position of Parliament saying we support the deployment of UPDF to South Sudan is irregular. Parliament did not give sufficient time and depth to analyze what called for the deployment, what was going to be the nature of the deployment. The Parliament needed to examine this. Was it going to be peace enforcement, or they're going to be allying to one side of the conflict and fighting everywhere? The stated reason was that they were going to protect Juba. Protect Juba against what? And against who? Now, for how long will the UPDF be in South Sudan? These are some of the terms which needed to be put clearly by the motion. Where would the support, the logistics, the finance come from? Who is going to finance this mission? Is it Uganda? Is it South Sudan? Is it the UN? Is it the African Union, like the case it happened in the case of the deployment of UPDF to Somalia? Who is going to foot the bill? Why I say Ugandans in the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, the MPs did not consider this motion properly is because afterwards, some members of Parliament came to question, raising these same questions here, that where will the money come from for the deployment, for sustaining the force there? After that motion purportedly approving the deployment of the forces to South Sudan, MPs came again to ask, where will the money come from? These questions were supposed to have been asked in the debate on that motion. So why didn't they ask this question? They are in the debate. It means that the motion was not properly given consideration on the floor of Parliament. It should have even gone from the floor to the Parliamentary Committee on Defense and Internal Affairs to scrutinize it in details, to include the issue of the type of troops deployed, for how long are they going to be there, to do what, the issue of the mission, the issue of financing, where will the money come from, and the issue of also liability. If UPDF officers and men get killed in South Sudan, injured in South Sudan, who will be responsible for this? Taking from the lessons learned in the deployment of the UPDF to Somalia and AMISOM, there was a memorandum of understanding between Uganda and AMISOM, which stated clearly the terms and conditions for the deployment. We expected to see the same here. In the terms and conditions for the deployment in Somalia, it was clearly stated how much every soldier deployed to Somalia would be paid. It was $1,000, $1,028 as of that time. $1,028, and the government of Uganda controversially withdrew out of that amount $200, which means every soldier was entitled to get the balance, which is $828. In this case, how much are you paying the soldiers, and how much are you withdrawing from them, as you did? Though I was in Parliament, I did not support the issue of the withdrawal of $200 from every payment of every soldier every month. I saw it, and we have the records. I was the Shadow Minister of Defense and Security in Parliament when all these things happened. So in this case, how much are you going to pay the soldiers, every soldier deployed in South Sudan? Are you going to repeat the same practice of deducting a pay from every soldier, even at a time when money is given for administration of the mission. In that agreement, money was also given for the uniforms, the equipment, the guns, everything which was taken to Somalia by UPDF. But still, they went ahead to deduct $200 from every pay of a soldier, ostensibly to pay for administrative costs. So in this case of the South Sudan deployment, what is going to happen? We need to know this. War is war, and war is hard. There are going to be injuries. There are going to be fatalities. Who is going to stand on these fatalities for the soldiers who are taken there? There are, unfortunately, brothers and sisters, so many deployment of UPDF troops are outside the borders of Uganda. Ugandans don't know where their soldiers are. This is the time where soldiers are going to be lost and unaccounted for, because you don't know where your children are. Are they in Congo? Are they in South Sudan? Are they in Somalia? Are they in Guinea? Are they in Gabon? Are they in the Central African Republic? Why should Uganda spread its forces all over? And you hear even some more threats of deployment to other places with the controversies given by our Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Uganda should not ignore the words of General Muhoozi, because sometimes you can say, usually this is how he talks in a funny way. But sometimes what he says turns out to be true. There has been a controversy about threats of deploying troops to Kenya. I remember when General Muhoozi said he was going to deploy and capture Nairobi within a few days. Also threats about deployment of UPDF to capture Khartoum after the swearing-in ceremony of President Trump of USA in this new term. The people of Kenya, the people of Sudan reacted angrily. And again, another deployment with the controversies is to certain parts of Congo, even now when the UPDF is there. The Congo government is also not happy about the deployment of UPDF, intended deployment of UPDF to Kisangani and other cities in the Congo there. On this particular case of South Sudan, General Muhoozi said, we are sending special forces to South Sudan in advance before the deployment was known by many people. Some people tried to brush off. Even South Sudan denied the deployment of troops to South Sudan. That no, there are no UPDF here. But in this particular case, General Muhoozi has done to be correct. And the threat has been employed. The statement is supposed to be coming out from the official spokesperson of the UPDF. Even South Sudan denied. South Sudan said, oh no. Even South Sudan denied. South Sudan said, oh no. There are no UPDF soldiers. There are no UPDF soldiers here. And Uganda started seeing the statements and the deployment of the UPDF. Don't ignore the statements of Muhoozi. Some of them will turn out to be true. Some of them will turn out to be true. Like the case of South Sudan, this case here, where he said, South Sudan. People denied. People argued against it. Later on, it turned out to be true. Today, we have UPDF in South Sudan. The Uganda government confirmed it. Parliament, in this particular case, was not properly examined by Parliament. Parliament should examine its position, and a motion should be moved in Parliament for the withdrawal of the UPDF from South Sudan. That is the second position of the FDC. The third position of the FDC is this. We should do, as Ugandans, support the UN mission, the UN peacekeeping mission in South Sudan, UNIMIS. And we urge the world to support UNIMIS. And if necessary, if the conditions are necessary for a higher level use of force, UNIMIS should be upgraded from a peacekeeping mission to a peace enforcement mission under the guidance of the United Nations. If there is more need for troops, new troops should be deployed to support UNIMIS from neutral countries, excluding Uganda, because Uganda has already lost its place of neutrality in South Sudan. So our troops should be brought back to Uganda, and the new troops should be deployed from countries which have a history of fighting and war-hardened countries like maybe Angola, countries like Mali, countries like maybe Ethiopia. But for now, Uganda has lost credibility in South Sudan because Uganda can no longer be viewed as a neutral party in the conflict in South Sudan. So our troops will be brought back. Instead, we support the UN troops, the peacekeeping mission of the UN, and urge the UN to upgrade that mission to a peace enforcement mission, and urge the UN also to bring in new countries, maybe working closely with the African Union peacekeeping mission. I mean, who are in South Sudan have gone to look for survival. They are the ones who have been displaced from Nakasero market here. They have been displaced from Owino. They cannot survive in a room. These are the people who have been marginalized and forced out of the economy. So they are suffering people like you, people of South Sudan. So look at them as your brothers and sisters. Don't harm them. Don't target them. Your issue should be with the President Museveni and his government, not with the people of Uganda who are in South Sudan. I plead with you. Thank you very much. If you have questions, you can ask.
It's okay.
Is there any question? Yes. Yes. Huh? Yes. Yeah.
What if in case our troops are not brought back? What would be the solution? Because sometimes these people or the government normally take these soldiers outside, even without the approval of the parliament. It means they exercise their authority. Like no one can touch it.
First of all, Ugandans and the parliament of Uganda must have a position on this matter. That the troops should be brought back to Uganda. The UPDF should be brought back to Uganda. Should President Museveni, who is the commander-in-chief, fail to comply to these wishes and the requests of the Uganda, demands of the Ugandan people and the Ugandan parliament, then the existence of the UPDF in South Sudan will be counted on him. He should not masquerade that parliament has authorized it, parliament has authorized it. And that is the position. We should make sure that we make our position very clear. And if President Museveni, who is the commander-in-chief, refuses, then parliament should not be used as a rubber stamp to say, as a cover, it is the parliament that authorizes. No. That should be how it should move. Then again, we also say, you people should understand the background to this conflict. Sometimes people wrongly follow the narrative given by one side of the conflict. You should understand this. The current crisis has a background. It is not and should not be taken that the UPDF went there in response to the fight in Upper Nile in Nasir around the 4th of March 2025, where the White Army, the so-called White Army, went and over a garrison of the South Sudan People's Defense Forces, and where people died in the process, including a general. We stand with the people and families who lost their life there, really, including the families of the general. But this thing started much earlier. You must look at this. First of all, there was a case on the 10th of February 2025 in Western Equatoria. The removal of General Alfred Futuyo, the governor of Western Equatoria State, from his office. He was put into that office by agreement, the peace agreement of 2018. Then on the 11th, again, of February, the removal of a minister, a national minister of health, Honorable Yolanda Aweldeng. He was also put there by the agreement of 2018. He was removed from his position of being a minister without consulting, without agreeing with the authorities of the SPLIU, unilaterally. And these are the things which built up the momentum. And then again, in the process of trying to pursue and to arrest General Futuyo from Western Equatoria State, the governor, they attacked his residence and there was exchange of fire. in Yambio. Fighting, okay, the fight started from Western Equatoria, not Upper Nile. Before this, then more and more officers of the SPLIO got arrested. Political leaders got arrested. And then there was a message people perceived, the people in Upper Nile got a message that they were going to be disarmed, the civilians. No, many people there have guns, that they were going to be disarmed. And a contingent of UPD, of South Sudan People's Defense Forces was sent to Upper Nile to disarm those people. Then the White Army and the civilian population there said, oh, you are coming to disarm us? We fight. And then the fight of the 4th of March in Nasir and the capture of the garrison came up as a result of all these things. There is a background deploying in response to what happened in Nasir. What about what happened in Western Equatoria? What about what happened in Juba? What about these things of the agreement being broken down? So it also went again further to the extent of arresting Dr. Riek Machar. I was arrested. IGAD, we thank the countries of IGAD, Kenya, Ethiopia, Djibouti. They got concerned, and an envoy was sent there to General Salva Kiir Mayardit, the president, His Excellency, the president of South Sudan, about the matter. And he also requested to go and talk to the counterpart of the conflict, Dr. Riek Machar. But according to the report, which is circulating also in the media, a report issued by, when he requested to go and see Dr. Riek Machar, he was not allowed. Instead, the president referred him to go to Uganda and see President Museveni to get permission. This one gives the impression that the command, the instructions that go arrest Riek Machar were given from Kampala. And this put Uganda in a very bad. That's why I would like to implore our president, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, regardless of the goodwill, the good things you have ever done, in this particular case, you have already been misunderstood. You have been understood badly as the one who has caused the problem, the one who has ordered the arrest. Therefore, you move out. Let other people, let other leaders of Africa take the lead. Come back home with our troops. Let other leaders of Africa go there, and they manage the problem. And if they fail, then they can ask you as a consultant of the region that we tried, we have failed, now you come back. Let them be the one to come back and request you, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, our president of Uganda, that you deploy the troops, so you come. But for this case, there is already a bad picture about Uganda. Our position as FDC is stick to the agreement of 2018. Release all the arrested people, the political leaders, the military officials, the commanders, including Dr. Riek Machar, so that confidence can be rebuilt. We need to build confidence. Our position is to rebuild confidence in the conflict in South Sudan, so that that agreement can be implemented. But you cannot talk about the agreement being implemented when some of the people are arrested, some of the people are in jail. How do you implement an agreement with me or with someone who is arrested, somebody who is under arrest? Some of the countries like the United States of America talk about Salva Kiir and General Salva Kiir and Dr. Riek Machar to talk until they agree. Now, one person is under arrest, the other one has arrested him. Talk with someone who has arrested him. Talk what now? The terms and conditions or the output of that talk will not be an agreement of peace. It can be called maybe surrender agreement. One of them must surrender into the hands of the other. There is already an agreement which is good. The 20 in that peace agreement of 2018, there will be an election. So make sure, the world should make sure that the peace agreement of 2018 is implemented and implemented properly until the end point of elections, where the people of South Sudan will democratically elect the leader of their choice. And the country will be at peace position. South Sudan will have one army called the South Sudan People's Defense Forces. not this force for that general, not this force for the other general. The army should be one. But let the first cannot go to the consequences instead of addressing the causes first. The existence of the armies, the many armies in South Sudan, are a consequence of a disagreement, political disagreement. Let the political disagreements be addressed first. Let people be in agreement with each other, and there will be no one with the moral grounds, moral power, moral authority to have any armed force in South Sudan. Even all these forces, tribal militias, the White Army, the other one, Army, Agwelek, or what, there are many of them. They will disappear when people of South Sudan come together and begin viewing each other as brothers and sisters of the same country. All the 64 tribes of South Sudan, when they look at each other as one, there will be no need for any tribe to have a private army of the tribe. So let's start with what has been put on in front of us, the agreement for 2018. Implement that one, go for elections, then unify all the armed forces, disarm the armed civilians, have one army, a professional army, and South Sudan will be a respected country with a respected army in the region. You wanted to ask something?
Yeah, but I think you keep it brief, yeah, somehow, because I wanted to know, because you're communicating the FDC position.
Yes.
But I wanted to know whether the party is taking initiative to maybe to launch a formal petition to the government, or maybe you're going to meet and engage these leaders formally, or you're only advising them in the media.
First of all, we have members of parliament who are elected on FDC ticket. We have them in parliament there. Our chief whip is there in parliament, Honorable Yusuf Sibambi. Our position to parliament will be given to Honorable Sibambi, and then together with the MPs who are there, they will sit. And we, as a party, would like to ask them to move a motion to work with other people, the motion for the withdrawal of the UPDF from South Sudan. That's how the organs will get involved. The organs will get involved. And we are also going to speak to the Ugandans, including you here, that let us advocate for the withdrawal of the South Sudan, the Uganda People's Defense Forces from South Sudan, and also we advocate for protection of the Ugandans who are in South Sudan. The South Sudanese do not look at Ugandans as enemies. This is the position. So it requires the people of Uganda to give this message to the South Sudanese that we are not your enemies. The deployment of the troops is not our work. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
My issue is on the disagreement.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that disagreement, they have to go for an election.
Yeah.
And this thing has been postponed because they have to have an election 2023.
Yeah.
Then they postponed to December 2024. And then December came, nothing happened. Should we have, because even UPDF going there, so maybe a request for the president. And now we see Dr. Riek Machar is also writing to Uganda that you're siding with the government. Put him in house arrest and this group, because this issue of UPDF going there, the government will say that they're protecting the city. And remember, the conflicts are not in the city.
Yeah.
It's far. The other side of Upper Nile. That is far, far.
Exactly. Actually, I start from this one. The statement of Uganda was that they are going to protect the city. But the conflict is very far away. Secondly, the assumption that Salva Kiir invited or if in reality, if he invited the armed forces of Uganda to go there, that is also irregular. Because the deployment of forces need to be approved by two parliaments. One parliament should be where the troops come from, like this one of ours. Then the other parliament, or the other side, there is a parliament there. They should approve the deployment of foreign forces into their country. Such a deployment did not take, such an agreement did not take place. The current government is different from the previous government, where Uganda signed a SOFA, a status of forces agreement, where which is the document used to legally back the deployment of the UPDF there. That SOFA was signed before the 2018 agreement. It was signed in the previous deployment here. When the current government came to force, we have now 5 vice presidents. You can see the difference. The terms and conditions are different. And it should have been that this government, this unity government, this power sharing government, to agree on the deployment of the troops, which is not the case in the issue of the elections. The postponements are unfortunate. They are postponed the elections again and again. But now I think the current position is that they are supposed to have elections 2026. Let's keep it there. December 2026, let them prepare. They go and have elections. The UN should deploy enough forces, give enough resources for the country to prepare. If it is the life of the shared power, the government of national unity, this current government, based on the agreement of 2018, we have extended it to this period of time. Now, let us stick to that period. And all sides will be prepared for the elections within this period without extending again. Because the extensions will jeopardize the hope of the people on the elections. And also, this deployment will jeopardize this arrest of political leaders and military officers will jeopardize the peace agreement, the peace negotiations which are still going on in Nairobi. There is what is known as the Tumaini Initiative. There is another group of rebels who are negotiating with the government of South Sudan in Nairobi, Kenya. Do you think those people will accept to come to Juba after seeing the arrest of the previous rebels who signed an agreement with the government? Now they come to Juba to be arrested. Are you negotiating in Juba to come to negotiating in Nairobi to come to Juba so that you are arrested like Riek Machar, like the other people who have been arrested? Definitely, the answer will be no. Therefore, to keep that negotiation going well, don't arrest the other people who are already in Juba here. Let everybody who is outside as a rebel see hope through the free movement, the participation of the other former rebels in the governance structure and systems of South Sudan without any arrest, so that they will see, there's no need for me to be a rebel. Let me go back home and join my brothers and sisters in South Sudan, and then peace will prevail. But otherwise, this current situation here is creating more seeds of war in South Sudan, which is very dangerous. Thank you. I think let's stop it here now.
Good afternoon once again. There's a burning issue of the termination of the Umeme contract. It should be by the close of today. But as if this will have some concerns, and we believe they are legitimate, but not only as if this but as Uganda. If we had followed what happened since this agreement was signed, I think there was a general agreement that we got a road deal. This has been communicated by the opposition and ironically by people in government themselves. Even the head of state put it in writing that the agreement was not good. All of you are conversant or are aware that there was a committee, the Genocide Committee in 2009. These are the people inside of government which sat and looked into this agreement. And they recommended that this is the worst agreement in the world. and they should be terminated. Then that was 2009. It wasn't. Thereafter, we had a committee of parliament, ad hoc committee of parliament, which was chaired by the Minister of Defense today, Mr. Obosobo. That committee also recommended that the contract, if you read what that committee recommended, then that was 2012. I can quote them verbatim. The committee finds this agreement unprecedented in the business or commercial world, since nowhere in the world can a company or individual be paid for their inefficiencies. This was a committee of parliament. This is where the country had to pay for the losses of power and pay women. A company which comes for making only profits, they don't make losses. But if they make a mistake, you have to pay for it. All these things you know. But as if this we are so much concerned, now we are, this woman here, this contract was supposed to end in February. Common knowledge. But now it reaches the last days of the handing over, that transition, you see Parliament sitting very, very fast. That people have to pass this thing very fast. Otherwise, we are in danger. They okay the Minister of Finance to go and get a loan of $190 million to buy out this monster called women. And in Uganda has an auditor general. In this report of 2012, they recommend the auditor general to look into those figures. Then, even now we have an auditor general. He waits up to the last minute to come in. Parliament passes that you get a loan to pay women. 2 days after, the auditor general now comes with a report that I'm done. You're not supposed to get that money. You're supposed to get now $118 million. After we have passed it in Parliament. But the auditor general is a Ugandan. He has been around. He has been seeing what is going on. But waits for Parliament to sit and pass that loan. The process is on. Already you have to pay some profits on that loan, more interest on that loan. Then you pass that you go 118. Some of us look at these things as if they are their way of doing things, to hurry up things and confuse everything. So that they invite you, maybe now take them to court, which will delay even the handover. Remember, is telling you I can't hand over before you pay me. And who is losing all these episodes? The people of Uganda. All of you who are Ugandans know, as of today, we had forgotten about load shedding. But load shedding is back. I don't know what signal that one signals. But load shedding now is back. We are getting worried that when they hand over to us, load shedding will increase. Because I'm not sure whether Uganda Electricity Distribution Company has the expertise to do this work properly. I'm not sure whether they can do it properly. We're not sure whether they are going to recruit the people who have been in Umeme doing this work into UECDL, DCL. We're not sure. If we don't employ them, who's going to do this work perfectly? All of you can bear with me. This monster here has been very bad, but of late, if you called them that they have a problem of power, they could come to that place in about an hour. So it was a fact of life. Despite cheating us in money, but doing their work, they have been trying to do it properly. But can this use the which is of government? You know how government parties, status do their work. You hand it over to them, which was against the recommendation of the committee in 2012. 12, I can call it a both committee, that we get this agreement from these people of Umeme and hand it over to a private company which can manage this thing properly. You know how government things are done, procurement, PPDA, how they employ people there, a lot of nepotism, a lot of whatever. At the end of the day, we may have a problem of this utility called electricity in Uganda. And you know, electricity is very, very important to all of us. It saves us from cutting down our forests, saves us from buying paraffin. But all these things now we are not sure where we are going as Ugandans. So if this is concerned, now that this we're not sure whether these people are going to take us to court, even we are not sure whether the people who invested in it, like NSSF. NSSF is your money, you people. It's your money. But they have shares, 23%. They have paid, they told us they paid Umeme some days ago. How sure are we they're not going to run away with the money? And then NSSF now cries that our money, people went with our money. They are telling us they are going to have their meeting, the directors meeting somewhere in May, but you are paying them today. How can you chase them when they are not in the country anymore? All those are concerns and very pertinent concerns. So, my brothers and sisters who are here, as a country, I think we have let down Ugandans. All of us, I think, qualified, I'm sure it is a strong word, to be a bunch of fools. All of us, me inclusive. These things are happening. We are watching. They took our electricity. God gave us free water. We can manufacture electricity here. Other people try to get it. God gave us everything free. But we gave it away to someone to come and enjoy. And what is so touching, those people who signed those agreements then, when they are still ministers, after they became directors, you know, Meme. I saw the name of Mr. Sendawood as one of the directors. Is it not? But he signed on behalf of government then. Madame Muloni signed on behalf of government. But now we came back and now we became the what? The Minister of Energy. So everything they are taking from us when we are looking on. If I tell you, my fellow Ugandans, that we're a bunch of fools, am I wrong? Everything they're taking away from us, but we are looking on. So as FDC, we have to put a lot of pressure on government so that now we don't lose the constant supply of electricity, which I predict is going to be the case. These people have been stealing this money here will not rest until they discredit UE this year, that they cannot manage this thing, so that they are brought back through another company. That's what I believe. So, ladies and gentlemen, as FDC, we are too much concerned. The parliament has not done their work properly. They have done it upside down like bats. They pass a bill, a loan to be taken. Then you call the auditor general after. The auditor general recommends something else. Now maybe say this money is not enough. Now we are going to be pulling ropes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we ask Ugandans to rise up this time, and we demand what is ours. If we don't do that, we are going to have our businesses go down because we depend on electricity on many things, not directly, even indirectly. All the factors depend on electricity. If there's not good supply, then we are in danger. And this was showing our money. I can tell you for sure, this woman may think most of the money is staying around. Some of those who have been stealing this money are here. How I wish our government was in power, should go after those people to bring back our money. Thank you very much. And you're getting Uganda and those days. Bannayuganda twasuze bulindaala nga tulinda okulaba nti endagaano eya Umeme yaggwako mu mwezi gw'okubiri ekitongole ekisaasaanya amasannyalaze tetuyita UEDCL. Ekitongole kino kya gavumenti naye Umeme ebadde kampani ya bwannannyini ebadde erabirira amasannyalaze engeri gye gatunda. Naye kiruma ffenna bannayuganda tulina okwesalira omusango. Emyaka 2 emabega abakulu bano bawandiika endagaano ne gavumenti aba kampani eno. Endagaano engeri gye bagiwandiika gino kampani bw'ejja okukola omulimu yo tefiirwa. Ne bweba tekoze nga yeebaseeka byefiirwa gavumenti erina obbisasula kitegeeza mu birina obbisasula bannayuganda. Ekisinga okuluma bannayuganda bonna baali bakkiriziganya ekintu kino kikyamu. Waliwo akakiiko akasooka bw'osoma byonna bye kaayogerako era byonna bye kaasaba gavumenti ekole kakulagira ddala nti kalaga eno kampani twali tugenda kufiirwa bufiirwa. Kagendako n'emyaka mitono nnyo etenana kuweza emyaka 5 akakiiko ka mukulu Ssaali ne kakola ki ne kagamba nti eno kampani twali tugiteko n'obuvunaanyizibwa buno. Wayitawo ebbanga Pulezidenti Museveni yennyini ate n'awandiika naye n'agamba nti ndabamu ebintu ebirimu ebitali bituufu. Kampani eyo n'abeetewe wana mulimu guno bagiwa buti omulimu bateekewo okubuuliriza n'okubuuliriza ekyavaamu bonna bonna buli omu ng'akulaga eno kampani yabeetekola mulimu guno. Akakiiko akaasembayo kali ka palamenti. Akakiiko ako kaliko omukulu Oboth minisita wa defense olwaleero nga yakakulira. Nako ne kasalawo kampani eno ko kasalawo nti bagiggyeko obuvunaanyizibwa ku ssaawa eyo. Kuba endagaano gye kakola nti yo neyo yeebaseeka batekoze ebintu ebitaataagana mumusasula. Naye beesazaamu contract yo nga yegisazaamu mugisasula 80%. Bwe muba mugisazaamu mugisasula ebitundu 120 buli omuwendo gwekola ki gwebefiiriddwa. Kati ne balaba akakiiko ka paalamenti ne kagamba nti bandibadde basazaamu endagaano ezo ku Nnambiro ku ssaawa eyo wali mwaka gwa 2012 emyaka nga 13 emabega. Naye olw'okuba mulimu abaali bafunamu kintu kino baakirekawo emyaka emirala 13 nga tufiire. Amasannyalaze gonna boge bajje bagula eno bekatuuka eri nga tekatuuse bulungi akafiira mu kkubo gonna mumusasula. Kiri mu ndagaano baba bamaze okukola emirimu gye kati kale bamaze bagaa nti ffe tugule batuwe abasuubuzi bakiyita batya okuwa ekizimbe guduwiru balekere ekintu kyammwe. Kati guduwiru baali basabye sente nyingi palamenti negamba nti twewole obukadde bwa $109. Ebikwewuunyisa mu Uganda ebintu ebibeera mu Uganda mu 19 babuyise palamenti emala obupulebuyise mangu nnyo obudde buweddeyo tawuyisa tufa. Ate banyaga nti ate tujja kuwa bugundi buno tujja kubuyisa nga ate osaidira amala okukola omulimu. Tukolanga ebinyira emitwe tugiteeka wansi. Otajene yabadde asooka okweka lipooti ye nayegesatu emabega ku lipooti ne muvaako ne mugende kuwola sente. Naye kati mulowooza sente ziriko n'amagoba musazeewo zeewola ate eno otajene abagamba musasule entono tezitumala. Kati tudde awo baliko okusika emigwa kyava nga bagaa nti bino bijja byeyongerayo tukola ki tubaliriza entalo eziri mu kooti. Kooti ng'egamba sente zikwekole ki esigalewo. Bino byonna tubituleeseeko lwa kintu kimu nti bannayuganda ebintu ebitukwatako tukyabifaako. Amasannyalaze gano si ga gavumenti si ga opposition ga bannayuganda bonna. Bwe gatakola ebirala ffe byongera okugwawo tulina okubeera n'amaanyi. Amafuta agajja kweyongera ka parafini ge tuleeta muno mu ggwanga so amasannyalaze galabadde Katonda yatuwa amazzi ga bwereere. Naye mu Uganda kikaabya nti ffenna tutunula butunuzi. Yaze mu Luzungu kye ŋŋambye ffenna we just battlefield. Tegeera Katonda yabawa buli kimu ne mukireka bajja abagezigezi bajja bakibatwalako ne bakiryawo. Ffenna ffenna just battlefields all of us. Naye ku ssaawa ero tutunudde ebyo tubirese. Ate kye tulina okwereka ffe nga FDC kisinga obunene. Bajja ekitongole kino bakijje mu bumeme. Badde erina byekola. bakitwala mu kitongole kya gavumenti okusinziira ebyeko ekitongole kya gavumenti kino amasannyalaze bulungi anagenda wansi okiraba bulabika amasannyalaze obbanga ttono nnyo ojja kulagayasa okuvaako wano wali bagee tukyatereeza kino ati kyalina kyetugula naye lwakuba abakozi bano abawumeme bano abayusitambuza amafuta amasannyalaze balina okubano nayo bana bafunye chance okuleeta abaabwe kati kuleeta abakola amasannyalaze gano nga wadde bagatuseera naye nga gabeeko tekibaddewo baddewo batuseera naye nga tegavaamu naye gavaamu nabana ababadde bumeme balina okufiira emirimu ekitongole ekivaawo kujawo nga bumeme distribution company ekoze ki ebabadde emirimu ebya Uganda nga byomubimanyi oli alinayo muganda we tajja kuleka muganda we ate bano abadde bakola bumeme ate si tteeka tebalina obateeka mumirimu ojja kulaba byonna byonna nga bitandise okukola ki okutambula mu ngeri etali ntuufu fe tulowooza nti nga bannayuganda kuno okuba okusembayo omubi okuba tetufa ku bintu byaffe endagano zino zabasulaga nti mbi batunula butunuzi abantu bonna basinga okunoonyeza ku bintu bino olwaleero bonna bali kusaidia ya gavumenti surprise General Sale olwaleero obos naye ne pulezidenti yennyini naye neweebuuza kyekyagaita okusasisa mu endagaano otulya minisita yasayininga ku ndagaano eno ku lwa gavumenti luli ate abadde director mu bumeme tudde olwaleero kikyosoma mu mwebi mukulu Sendawula babadde ba director ate mwe abatereka ensimbi zammwe zino simanyi mu NSSF naki mulina okwekaabira kubanga temumanyi kiddako nange simanyi kubanga batugende NSSF yateeka muki mu kampani eno twewunya n'okwewunya NSSF oteyoka otya mu kampani naye gyolaba nga esika musaayi mu bannayuganda notaddemu sente zo ate baba bakisasudde sente bayisasudde sente zo zikyali mu ggwanga otuukira okugenda mu mwezi gw'okutaano mukole minting y'aba shareholders balonga babukanaa tebaliimu sente onoziddawo ero FDC etutunuulira tugaba bannayuganda nti tufeeyo ku kintu kino tuteeke amaanyi mu gavumenti ku kino ekyamasannyalaze si kyakuzanya nti batuyamba buyambi buli omu akyetaaga mu ggwanga waliwo akabuuzo mwebale nnyo